أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. يا إخواني وأخواتي، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of Allah be upon you, inshallah. So we're here to continue. For those who are interested, I have a huge access to some database that was made from by one of my teacher, which is Aba Kang Sesep Arif Rahman of Indonesia, of the city of Garut, which had the opportunity to provide some support for technical refinement by the use of the technology and platform of DVD and stuff like that. So there is a huge collection. So those who are interested can contact me, Nasr gmail.com. So there is a lot to choose. You get this kind for the Betawi of style of Batavia, which is north of Jakarta. You have also this collection, Garis Paxi. You have a huge collection of useful and very rare. Most of them are out of print. So you have various titles which were preserved. Also this. So you get this collection with a lot of styles, weapon-oriented, hand-oriented, also styles from Java, Sumatra, all that stuff, and which was in fact made by the initiative of a French student of Indo Silat in the name of Eric Chatelier, which have the biggest move on the preservation of Pencak Silat of Indonesian origin. So there is a huge collection of DVD, all different. And many of them not available anymore in the trading. Also, for those who don't know, there is DVD is a very good support to learn. So a trick that I will present to you for your training, for your development and your research in the world of martial arts is the use of the DVD support, because with the DVD you can choose what you see and what you want to learn, and you don't have this bloat. So DVD can be more expensive because a lot of things is available for free now with the internet, but it is a lot of bloat. It is something that is not really helpful. You will not grow with this kind of behavior. So I use this kind of stuff. It is all technology for some, but far better in what you win from it. This is a portable DVD player. So I open it. It battery operated. I put a DVD inside, a DVD that I bought with my money or with a gift from someone, or so from legal earning. In the point of Sharia, I'm able to share to receive the knowledge, because I paid for it. So from a godly point of view, it is legal. It is halal. And this is different when you start to reap something that you have not property about. And so when I'm in transportation, train station, transportation of any kind, I can, in a blink of an eye, just push a button and it opened. It starts very quickly, like in 10 seconds. It memorized the last time, the last section of the DVD I was watching. So this is one of the tricks I use, especially when I have to learn numerous martial arts concepts, because I'm a student of martial concepts, how they are implemented and how they are related to metaphysical origin, concept in its application, and also in its metaphysical origin. The concept of deviation, concept of block, concept of push, concept of evasion, concept of retaliation, and all that stuff are linked to some high degree of metaphysical content. So this is a trick. So when I study something, I take time to dissecate, to make notes on what's happened, to analyze. It is very important. It is like this you can understand and share some useful knowledge for the generation after. So there is this huge collection made by the French, assisted by Kang Sesep Arif Rahman, which had the opportunity to meet a great amount of master in Java, also in Sumatra, with, for example, Haji Sufyan, which is Sufyan Nadar, which is a master of Sumatra Harimu style, tiger style of Sumatra, and so on. So those who are interested can contact me on omannasr@gmail.com. This is my mail, and I will respond, inshallah. So, the region of Cimande have a great popularity in all West Java, because it is not only linked to the Penchak Silat and the martial arts application, but also to another section of knowledge which is quite as important, which is the science of healing. It is, in fact, medicine, الطب. You can also, for those who don't know, I also study traditional Muslim medicine. That's why I have this book, القانون في الطب, from the great scholar Ibn Sina, which was, in fact, the operative manual of the Middle Age, including west area of Europe. And so, the region of Cimande benefits from a great popularity in all West Java and far beyond. Mainly, which is current of Penka, which is another term for Penchak Silat, because Penchak Silat is a new term. This combination Penchak and Silat is a new term. In Sumatra, they call it also Silek. And in Java, mostly Penka or Menpo. And so, the style of Cimande, in fact, it was developed in this form, in his actual form, during the years 1760, and which from a certain number of practitioners was already existent since the 17th century. And this is, you can find mention of this in the work of Lee Wilson. This school of Panchak Silat had its notoriety because of the legend that surrounds its origin of creation. It exists various explanation of this origin, which put in perspective a sacred lineage, which is in fact in Arabic. There is a quote here in Arabic, silsila karoma, in adapted Arabic in the Bahasa language. And the relation that was sharing by the three main village of the region of Cimande. So the three village we spoke it before, with Tarikolot being the most important of them. So the representative of this school says that the Cimande style was created by an ancestor, which the real name was lost, and we seen with the Wali Sango that the name used were not most of the time the real name, so there was some kind of adaptation with the generic term of Abba Buyut. Abba mean father in Arabic. Abba Salih, for example, and stuff like that. Abba mean Abba Abdullah for Imam Hussein. It's a kunya. It's a surname with the use of the father figure. It is how it is done in the patriarchal society of Semitic origin, and the name of the father have the importance. Here with the signification of ancestor for aïeul in French. So Abba Buyut, Buyut in Arabic mean it's the plural form of Beit, Buyut meaning houses. So like the father of the villages. And so it is noted that these ancestors may have transmitted this art to his people in the name of Abba Qahir. Qahir mean in Arabic victorious. Victorious is also this word which gave the name of the city of Cairo in Egypt, capital of Egypt, Al-Qahira. So Abba Qahir, father victorious. So it is recalled that these ancestors had transmitted to his people, Abba Qahir, the physical lahir, which is a deformation of Arabic zahir, which means external in Arabic. So physical, tangible part of the discipline in the Cimande. And that Abba Ranga, which is the spiritual son or biological son of Abba Buyut, and most things that Abba Ranga was the biological and also spiritual son of Abah Buyut, had inherited of the spiritual aspects of this school, which is translated here with batin, which is the internal part. So the actual representative of Silat Cimande, which are not ancient, so just the guys in charge right now, are saying that Abu Qahir, it was only a peasant which lived in the neighboring of the villages of Simand, which is something you have to investigate, because there are numerous affirmation and more older affirmation about the correct identity of Abu Qahir, and even one who states that Abu Qahir was not a peasant but was a horse trader from Arabic origin. And this is something to keep in mind. It is one of the oldest version. Like you have the oldest version of the identity of Bodhidharma, for example, which is stated in the oldest version long before there was some presumption that he was from South India or stuff like that, that he was from Iran and he was blue-eyed. And this is reported in the most ancient Chinese source that Bodhidharma was from Iran. And it is also part of the Greco-Buddhic civilization, which was highly influenced by Iran and also serve as a bridge between Greece and old Asia. So it is something to mention. Bonjour, bienvenue. So there is this kind of ultimate truth which can be tested with sources, and you have also the deviation of the West. For example, the numeric system of the Arabs now is called Indian numbers, but it is in fact Arabic Islamic numbers. But they tricked. They used the interest of Al-Khwarizmi in the Indian tables, which had some benefits, to support the thesis that before that there was not the use of numerical symbols by the Arabs, which was completely false. In fact, from the time of the Sumerians, the decimal system was widely in existence in the area. So in Mesopotamia, in Sumer, which is the mother of civilization, it was used even to count hours. So at least they have a decimal system to 60, like 60 minutes of an hour. So it is a redirection of sophism. It is sophism. It is a sophistic approach of the West to debase the degree of culture of Middle East. And for those who don't know, even yoga, Hatha yoga, are related to Aryan, to Iranian, more that it is related to Indian. But there is this bad behavior of the West. So they like to strips with nudity the Middle East and to give the clothes to less threatening civilization. This is the case also with Sub-Saharan. They like to remove some Berbers of their ethnicities and give the traits of sub-Saharan people and stuff like that. They did it with Hannibal, which is in fact Hannibal is not even Berber. He's from Sur, Janub Lebanon. So he's a Phoenician. Hannibal, he was from a Phoenician religion with Phoenician name, with Phoenician vocabulary, etc. Not mixed even with Jetul or Barbaric of the land of Tunisia, but they removed even from him his Tunisian appartenance and they made it a black, for example, with the Hollywood production that have no other aim that generate money and debase the true order of the Semitic heritage. So, to this affirmation that from the representative of Cimande, actual representative of Cimande, so modern guys, that Abu Qahir was just a simple peasant that lived in the neighboring villages of Cimande. To this affirmation, there is an opposition in the discourse of the practitioner of TTKKDH, which is the Bantenese version of Cimande. Which is even less detailed than the representative of Cimande, a reflection of the popular conception of the Sundanese about the history of this current and school of Silat. So we retain that the name of Abu Qahir which was retained to made Cimande a popular style and also largely for his large contribution in the fact of making it famous by his travels, is considered to be his founding father. For those who don't know, father, even from English, is from the word fater, Arabic word fater. Fater means the one who divide, because it is the one who is in the origin of something. That's why it is one of the name of God, Al-Fatir. And even you have the combination, like in mafia movies, God, Father, in French, Dieu, le Père. It is an association which is kufr, of course, but which is kufr in terms of paternity, because lam yalid wa lam yulad, but it is true in terms of function and relation. Father mean divisor. It was used by people of misunderstanding of the Semitic language as father, but in fact, it is a divider of natures. It is a divider of fitra. And that's why all newborn until a certain age are leaded by the fitra, which is a natural religion. And when they attain the age of distinction of 7 or so, they became attached to the religion of their father. So there is a double allegiance, a division made by God on a natural level for humans, and after that, a redirection in the community of the father. This is a key concept to understand Islamic faith and Semitic faith. So the patriarchal father, pateris, fateris, father, is very important. So from the practitioners of TTKKDH, Abba Qaher was living in the village of Kogreg, which is in Bogor. Bogor being one of the main village. Bonjour, welcome. And so he was a lot seen at Cimande because he went to be initiated to some invulnerabilities, which is the booth, which is also the booth in, I don't know if I pronounce rightly the Indonesian equivalent, but the booth is in fact le clou in French. It is the nail you hammer to make enter the wood, for example, when you are a carpenter. So the booth is an Arabic term from the core. It is something inherited by tariqat of Middle East, which had, and also the Shia incarnation of Islam, which is full of physical test, like walking on fire and stuff like that. So in Middle East, it is a well-known tradition, and it seems it has an echo and resonance in the land of Sunda in Indonesia. So, to being in it, so Abba Qaher went a lot in Simond to receive initiation in invulnerabilities, the both in the company of Abba Ranga, which was the teacher, and in which he was a simple agricultor, but Abaranga accepted to initiate him. So Abaranga have a nice higher status, and both of them were engaged in anti-colonial warfare. That is, in a colonial context. And Simond was a base of this rebellion. Abba Qaher was a trader of horses. So you go from peasant agriculture, and now you have Abba Qaher with a nice status. For those who don't know, the horses were not indigenous of the region of Indonesia and Sunda. And the first horses were imported in Indonesia by the Mongols, which came with gift when they were after that expelled from the island, because Indonesian resisted the Mongols when the Mongols tried to impose their rules. And it was around the time of the conflicting events between in all Asia, with Mongols as a dominant and destructive ethnicity. So we can note that Abba Qaher was a trader of something that is not primarily of Indonesian origin. The horses, the symbol from external, uh, and it can explain why he traveled that much and that fast, because you cannot make huge travels at these times without a means of locomotion. It is not envisageable. If most of your time you are working, you cannot train, you cannot receive knowledge, you cannot dismantle and transmit knowledge far away and stuff like that. You are stuck. When you are just an agricultor, you are stuck to your land. But when you are a horse traders, you can cover long and distance fast and have it exchange with others. That's what it is more coherent with the narrative of his dissemination of knowledge. And so Abu Qahir was a horses trader. And with this title, he was most of the time leaded to go in the mountainous roads of Priangan, of all the Priangan, the region of Bogor and Simand. And also, he had to deal frequently with the thugs and organized robbers in the road. And his Penchak, Penka, Menpo was of use and made always the job. So it saved his life. So in Batavia, which is the ancient word of Jakarta, you can see also here with the style Putra Betawi. It is the styles from Jakarta. So the ancient name of Jakarta is Batavia for the Hollandaise and Betawi. So in Batavia, the old Jakarta, he had the opportunity to meet some masters of Silek. And the word Silek here is of great importance because it reflects also the origin. Silek is a word used for the styles of Silat, but from Sumatra Island, which is closely linked to the influence of Malaysia, of Malacca. So it is something important to note. So he had the opportunity to meet masters of Silek, Minangkabau. So for those who don't know, Minangkabau, Harimo, Minangkabau is a style of Silat from the Sumatra island, which is in fact highly linked to the techniques of the tiger. So it is more defined by tight step game and also a way to finish on the ground. Lethal techniques to finish someone on the ground, and with a lot of use of this tiger paw. So a lot of techniques and attacks are like the tiger, targeting the throat. So there is way to tear the throat. There is way to turn, to crack the neck, and all that funky stuff. So an example, it's the great master. I don't know if we can see him. Pak Haji Sofyan Nadar, which is the highest authority in the Harimo Minangkabau Silak this day. So it is a Sumatran encyclopedia. I think he mastered like 20 different styles of the same Silat concept. So with variation. So it is a high level teacher. And even Kang Sesep Arif Rahman benefited to great extent from the professionalism and vision and mastery of this teacher. So a teacher of highest importance. So for those who don't know, if I had to to give counsel to you about one teacher in Java, it will be Kang Sesep Arif Rahman or Kong Gending Raspuzi. And if it was from the island of Sumatra and the Harimo style Minangkabau, it will be Pak Haji Sofyan Nadar, which is an authority in this field. So there is a question from a member. So salutation from a lot, and this one, from where are you from? So for those who don't know, I'm half Lebanese from southern Lebanon, Jabal Amil, Balad al-Sham, and from my mother's side, I'm Algerian from المغرب الوسط في اللغة العربية. And I'm Muslim from birth and also a descendant of Prophet Muhammad from both sides, if it can helps give indication of my tribe, which is something important in the Islamic presentation. So yes, I speak Arabic. But بحكي العربي، ولكن هذه القناة باللغة الإنجليزية. بحكي كمان الفرنسوية و شو اسمه قليل من اللغات أخرى. ففي سؤال من المشاهد: هل أنا سني أو شيعي؟ يعني عائلة أبي كلهم من تشيع، وعائلة أمي كلهم من تسنن، من تسوف، فهم من مذهب المالكي ومن طريقة الشاذلية. So there is a response of the brother. So ما شاء الله ربي يحفظكم، سلامكم الله العلي العظيم، نسألكم الدعاء. So, and that's why it is important, and I promote a kind of openness between different schools. There is a lot of school developed from various point of view, by men's, by jurisprudence, by personality in the field of Islam, in the good, in the bad. I'm not here to judge everything, but sometimes certain schools suffer from what is called hypertype. Hypertype is when you developed the same aspect specific aspect that you choose in the field of religion with the discardation of some other aspect, and it can be problematic. And in my opinion, برأيي, it is why the tradition of futuwa was lost in the Arabic incarnation of Islam and masculinity, because the religion was too much influenced by the jurisprudence. Jurisprudence are not the apex of existence. No, they are scholars of the law. Most of the time, قاضي. So القاضي يعني في المعنى, in the understanding, correct understanding, is a judge of legal issues. A judge if issues as in conformity with the law. The law can be seen as source, Kitabullah and Sunnah. So this is the sources. So for the Shia, the Sunnah expand to with the protection of the family of the Prophet. In the Sunnah denomination, the Sunnah is transmitted by the companions without too much differentiation between the family. The family of Prophet have no special prerogative and special authority in the Sunni definition, and in the Shia, they have both a function of protection and function of hermeneutics, of correct meaning of the law, correct interpretation. So there is a mastery of fahm, the understanding of Prophet Muhammad transmitted. And it is evident in the first book of the Shia, Kitab Sulaim bin Qais al-Hilali. So, from that, there is some differences. From that, the contents differs. When you took a hadith from the family of Prophet Muhammad, you have a certain taste of hadith, in good and in bad. Why? Because from the associates of even the family of Prophet Muhammad, which was designed to have a certain degree of authority, we have traitors, we have ghulat, we have problematic individuals. We have also kind of mujasima from them. You have a different kind of مجاسمة في عند أهل السنة والجماعة, which is more dedicated to giving a body to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with corporality of God, you got the premise of that in the teaching of Ibn Hanbal. You got also people like Ibn Taymiyyah, which compare himself to God. Every time he said in الخطبة in the discourse in the mosque, in the prayer of congregational prayer of Friday, that God ascend in Laylatul Qadr from the heavens to earth, like him descending from the minbar after his discourse of Jum'ah. And this is not something that is acceptable for me. Maybe it is the true ultimate truth for others, but this is point of division. I got, even from my family, people that support that stance. In my maternal family, I've got one uncle which is a huge fan of both Ibn Arabi and also Ibn Taymiyyah. And Ibn Taymiyyah made Ibn Arabi a kafir. So it is difficult to conceal the two, But in my family, in my circle, and sometime someone which wrote extensively in on he's a scholar. He wrote books for living in religion in the field of understanding. I got a specialty in Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Arabi, and more in Ibn Arabi, but he is fond of Ibn Taymiyyah. It is also something which is due to the colonization of the French, because after the French colonization of Algeria, and my family in Algeria is the main family, is our descendant of Idris al-Awwal, which is a Hassani Sayyid, which founded the kingdom of Morocco, Mamlikat al-Maghribiyya. They have documented ancestry for that, Shajara and so on. But when there was the independence of Algeria, you have a bunch of scholars from Berber origin, like Ibn Badis, which played a role of inserting Ibn Taymiyyah, which was at that time something which was rejected by the Malikis of the region. There is no place for the teaching of Ibn Taymiyyah. He was seen as a mubtadi', fitri, with deviated belief, like Al-Wahhabi stated in Risala for Ibn Taymiyyah. But after that, even the old families of scholars had lost their track. They was thinking that Ibn Badis and stuff like that were actually scholars. And so the introduction of Ibn Taymiyyah in this prevalent nonsense. Ibn Taymiyyah have a lot of contradiction in his path and in what he wrote. He wrote a lot. And when you know that in the tradition of Islam, Al-Qadi have his tongue between two burning charcoals, and when he hears this is hell for him, you can't understand the inherent danger of writing everything that go on top of your head, and even more when you have an impulsive temper. And also, the origin of Ibn Taymiyyah is problematic. I don't take scholars from the Kurds, for example. I apply some racialism. It is very important. It is very important. In Maghreb, in the great Maghreb, and even Andalusia, all people, all Muslim, were not of equal input in the scholarly realm. So you have mixes. I'm not against this, but I'm against mixes of Arabic women with non-Arabic. I am against mixes of Sayyidat with non-Sadat. I'm against this kind of mixes. And even from the mouth of Ahmed bin Hanbal, this kind of mixing were one of the first things that was demanded by the Shu'ubiyya, which was a school mainly ruled by Ajaim, non-Arabs, and that demanded the right to marry everything they wanted to debase nobility. So it is problematic. So as an Arab, even I'm not a real Arab, I'm an Arab, but not from الأعرب. I'm not Arabi. I'm not قحطاني. I'm from the descendant of Ismail. So I'm an Arabi مستعرب of the old time, not العربي مستعرب عصري مثلا. I'm عربي مستعرب أصلي, from the descendant of the Abrahamic, like the Prophet Muhammad and all the Quraysh. So there is some racialism to understand. We have a hadith also on Bedouin. I don't take my religion from Bedouin. I don't take my religion from the Wahhabiyya. I don't take my religion from them. Never. It will never happen. They can, you can show me the purest Arab on earth. If he's Badawi, I take my distance with him. For me also, the Persian language is the language of hell. It is something to mention, as it is written in numerous hadiths. And also, a lot of ethnicities are problematic. We have a hadith on the Al-Khazariya, which is problematic until today, which is killing on daily basis. I even lost my properties in Lebanon because my village was removed from the map, regardless of supporter of Hizb or not. They don't made any distinction. They removed what they needed to remove. So, what is laid down, what is a part of the ilm transmitted by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, and the period of intizar, al-faraj, which is also a main component regarding the eschatology, is for me prophetized from long time. The inactivity and inaccuracy of the Arabs, the Muslims of the world. Many speak a lot, but they will not be touched. In fact, in secret, they rejoice of the removal of what they say they see as maybe concurrent in terms of ethnicities. It's like a brother or a cousin that have envy and jealousy to another member of his family, and which he is in daily basis eating his flesh, waiting his demise, and putting maybe some peeled glass in his food. This is how I see stuff right now. So that's why I have no problem to be in disagreement, even with Shia or even with some Sufis and stuff like that, or even with some Sunni. I look people in what they are and how they manage themselves, the purity of their conduct is a proof of their nobility. So a man that asked the question had a good way of dealing with the answers. It is something that must be saluted. So, أبا قاهر was a seller of horse trader. And so he was a lot seen in the mountainous roads of Priangan. And so he have frequently to defend himself against bandits and thugs. So organized crime of the time. And his Panchak made him out of the confrontation victorious most always. So in Batavia, all Jakarta, he had the occasion to encounter some Silek Minangkabau masters and also some practitioners of Chinese martial arts. And you have a well-known hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, اطلبوا العلم ولو في الصين. And when you go in China at the time of Prophet, or around the area, the big area of China is sea and its land, it is not for learning ilm related to religion, but it is to learn ilm which are extra religious. So you can find some similarities in spirituality and stuff like that, but there is a difference of religion. But you can find also ilm, tangible ilm, which is inherent of the creation of Allah, like martial arts, for example. We all know in the time of هابيل وقابيل لعنة الله عليه, and the first murder of humanity, the use of violence was something that started the internal wars between men with two lineage. And we know that lineage of Adam alayhi salam was after propagated with his son, which is Shaith alayhi salam, which was also a prophet of Islam. And you have in this book of a Sunni scholar, الرحلة from Ibn Jubayr, we have mentioned that القبر من Shaith and the qabr, the tomb of Shaith, Nabi Shaith, and the tomb of Nuh are located in Balad al-Sham and in Lebanon, for those who don't know. So the tomb of Nuh is located in Karak Nuh, and the tomb of Shaith in the village of Nabi Shaith. There is a village in Lebanon which is called Nabi Shaith. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا العاملة. أهلا وسهلا فيك. And so it is related with the region of Jabal Amil. So the brother Al-Amili know what I'm talking about. So even from objective source like Ibn Jubayr, which was not a Shi'i, the tomb of Shaykh Ibn Adam, which is after Adam the father of humanity, and the tomb of Nabi Nuh, which is also the father of humanity, because the non-Adamic humanity was removed بتوفان, sorry, in by the typhoon. Taufan give the word typhoon, which is in fact which is the flood, which is the flood in English. So really interesting stuff to know. Some from this day, there was an inherent obligation, which is also reflected in the Shi'i madhab with Jafr al-Abyad, which is the religious components of the heritage, prophetic heritage, and al-Jafr al-Ahmar, which is also linked with Silah al-Nabi, the armory of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is transmitted to the Imams until the time of Al-Mahdi al-Muntazar عجل الله فرجه الشريف ونحن معه إن شاء الله. And it is also evident in textual evidences. When you have in Kitab Sulaym bin Qais al-Hilali, in the first hadith and the exchange between Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alamin Fatimatu Zahra and her father Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ali, Rasulullah, and you have the wording of Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alamin, أخشى على النفس وولدي الديعة من بعدك. You have the need أخشى, which is like the fear or the apprehension of something offensive that will be happening after the demise of Prophet Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa. So there is clear indication of a need, a subliminal need of protection. And even more when you have like a rendezvous, like a meeting with your Imam as a savior of the world at a time or another in your generation. Great. If you die before, you have in al-intizar, in the preparation, in the waiting of the Imam, develop some strong ground of martial education, of religious education and choices. It is something you have to work on it. And it is the noble direction. It is like Sirat al-Mustaqim. How do you go to your Imam, to the Baqiyatullah? What is left by Allah in terms of authority in this earth, in this abased earth, earth being the most abased element in the table of composite element, العناصر المركبة. You have to take a straight way. And the straight way is the way of elevation, of education, of cultivation. It is not the way of using, for example, the technology of the West, which is in fact a pretext to remove you for good from the earth without posterity. The trick is used. People in Arabic country, in Muslim country, don't produce weapons. Very few of them produce weapons. And even when they produce weapons, they cannot use them as the rest of the world can do. So in fact, it makes its inhabitant a target from the mighty West, mighty materialistic, megalomaniac equivalent in humanity. So the thing you have in elevation with faith, conduct, adab, they got in materialism, in envy, in way of removing you from the face of the earth. And with a total faith in what they are doing. They think they are progressist. The land is here. The people in that land are problematic. So we have the power. We have the vision. We can remove them and replace them from with a more obedient kind. And this is sadly the plan of the destructive West, the imperialism. They consider the world as their empire. And this is what is frightening. The easiness with they can accept the removal, for example, of the Japanese by nuclear strike and stuff like that is quite disturbing. They think they made the good. Even the Japanese abdicated and recognized their lost. They removed them. And they traumatized them. And they continued to study them, their reaction with the poison they sent to them, with nuclear strike and I don't know the kind of technology they used. So this is highly problematic. We don't operate in the same level of destruction. All the wars of the Muslims were relatively environmental friendly, but not the way the West proceed. The West want to win at all cost because it serves their control. They based their civilization on taking stuff from other. So on rape, also on stealing, on lying, on borrowing stuff from other, and taking the paternity of even the word rhyme, for example, rhyme. Many people, when they saw me making poetry in music and even rap and stuff like that, because I found the true etymology of this concept and the true meaning of this concept. Don't realize that several years later, with my research, I was even able to prove that the word rhyme, RHYME, was from not only Arabic origin, but also a Quranic word. It is in fact the first rhyme of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rahim. The word Rahim gave the word rhyme in English. That's why you have a H after the R and before the Y. Rahim. And it is obvious because the Surah Al-Fatiha is the 7 you repeat, and it is based on rhyme. And the formula Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is used for all the verses of the Quran. Even in Al-Fatiha, it is the first verse, and in the other, it is an introduction. So, Bismillahi ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik Yawm al-Din, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Full rhymes based on the first rhyme. So the impact on poetry, music, everything artistic is unheard. It is from Quranic inspiration, inspiration of ruhani level of the soul. مكان الروح الصدر. And it is something that must be understood, and which is understood in the heavens. So it will be the end of this video. اللهم صل على محمد ومحمد. التمس الدعاء. الله معكم. إلى اللقاء. مع السلام. Inshallah, I will try to develop some projects. I'm not sure for now because I have to wait sometimes to be able to move freely. But I'm also interested by the humanitarian aspect, also in climate change, ecological, biological stuff like that, medicine, stuff like that, martial arts. Also, maybe I will develop something in the Middle East. Maybe I have to check because my village was badly removed from the map, so we had a lot of casualty on like 15 houses that my family had, my family, direct family and extended family. Nothing survived. So I have the land of my father. Maybe I will turn it in a martial arts camp because sadly at a time or another I will have to move from the country I am now because of the pressure of the states and stuff like that. I had to undergo a lot recently. I was particularly targeted because of my origin, of my religion. Even I, all my life, had an anti-military stance because I don't believe in wars. I only believe in the coming of Al-Mahdi al-Muntazar and the coming of Isa alayhi salam, and that's all. I don't have business with any uprising, any so-called Islamic revolution or whatsoever. I know that from the miracles of Isa alayhi salam, the dude will attack Yajuj wa Majuj and stuff like that, and we will be freed of them. So I don't go in wars that have no sense in my religion. That's all. I prefer to concentrate to development. Ancient weapons are fine for me. I found they were the weapons of my ancestors. They have a symbolic charge in them, which is far more rewarding than weapon based on the discovery of the Chinese. That Chinese didn't develop, or in fact, Chinese had the wisdom to not overuse it. On the contrary to the Western world, which is particularly frightening and threatening. The way it remove the aspiration of the souls and replace it by mere calcul, 1 plus 1 or 1, you subtract 1 equals 0. is outrageous for me. So I'm a critic of Middle East also, but the West is in the apex of hypocrisy and discrimination. They sadly are in an open war with people that don't share their system of value, and I don't share their system of value. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us, inshallah. مع السلامة.